Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And I know the Root Metrics reports are out, the individual cities and states, but I want to break away from that a bit, and I want to talk about this article that dropped here a little while ago from Mike over at Light Reading. This is quite a big one that I want to break down and I want to talk about. So T-Mobile from Project Odyssey to Horizon 3. Now, you might say, what does that mean? So these are code names that are oftentimes submitted, or project names that are submitted to the FCC ahead of time so it doesn't leak publicly. So whenever you want to do a merger or acquisition, you kind of let the FCC know ahead of time, hey, this is what I plan on doing, and are you in favor? You know, you kind of get a feel. So you put out project names, and then the FCC reviews that. They see, of course, on the filings what you're planning on doing, but that's usually how it's presented to the FCC. So Project Odyssey was the US Cellular deal. The US Cellular deal was announced in May of that year, and then in January of that year, the FCC was already alerted that the acquisition of US Cellular was gonna take place. Now Horizon 3, we don't know what that entails yet. That's fairly new. It's more of a look, a future outlook of how T-Mobile is going to gain additional revenues and just profits, right? That's what's listed. And I want to be clear on this. Cable has to be included in that, even if it never sees the day of light. Like if they can't, behind the scenes, if they can't structure a deal that favors both parties, they don't think they can get the investors on board, cable is on the list. I want you guys to come to that conclusion, right? I'm not going to share any documents that I've received here, but cable is on the list. It's on the list. T-Mobile is looking at cable. They have to. They have an obligation to at least look at it for the sake of the shareholders and everyone else involved. So cable's on the list. And I don't know if it happens, it's going to happen under this administration. I want to be very clear. And I don't know if it's this year, next year, but they have to at least entertain it. It's on the list. It was on the list even prior, right, to the Sprint merger. Cable's always been on the list. But now T-Mobile is actually big enough to like really entertain this, like the all stock deal. However they structure it, right? It's now very entertainable. They can entertain this. And I would say it's got to be Charter. But that's my view, right? Comcast they got media. It's very complicated, so I wouldn't touch Comcast. But Charter, I think that's a real possibility moving forward. So let's look at this really quickly. As T-Mobile enters 2025, it's working to acquire a similar US Cellular, Project Odyssey, as I mentioned, and then after that, to seek out additional revenue opportunities with Horizon 3, right? Revenue opportunities, I mean, cable could be clearly a part of that. T-Mobile scored high marks for its better-than-expected fourth quarter performance and 2025 outlook, and now the company's management is looking for what's next. So I want to also be clear on this. The last time T-Mobile got serious about doing a M&A, right, merger acquisition, they ended up doing a merger with Sprint. That's when Mike Sievert was promoted from CMO to COO. So then, John could go to the court hearings, the FCC hearings. He could be in DC, back and forth. And that's what T-Mobile is kind of doing now, right? They got the COO. All the senior level executives are going to report to the COO. So Mike can focus on the future of the company. So then he can go do his, trips to DC and everything else, right? Not saying that will happen, but I'm saying he's now flexible to do those types of trips and make that type of a big merger happen, right? It's a big possibility. And I think they need to do it. I just think they need to do it. Like these whole smaller JV players, it's fine and it works. It keeps them in the pure play state, right? But you buy two smaller ones to make one big one, right? In terms of homes passed or fiber to the prem, you still don't own it. You're still having to integrate, spend money, get it past all these regulatory bodies, and you still don't own the entire thing. And then you never know, the next time you might want to do it. You don't know what administration is going to be in the office. This administration is only here for 4 years. These things take time, right? So you do one big one, you get it across the finish line under this administration, and it's done, right? You don't have to worry about what administration is in and what the industry looks like and this, that, and the third. You just do one and you get it done and it's over with. And now you're really in the wireline space, right? If it's coax, DOCSIS, whatever, you attach your branding, you have wireless that's very strong, and then you go and just compete like crazy. And T-Mobile is really good and known for competing at a very high level. Just look at their growth. They're still growing on wireless. They're going to get a little bit of a taste of what the wireline is like with the closure of Metronet and Lumos. So they're going to have some experience by the time, maybe that this cable announcement could be made. But I truly believe that's what they're going after. Because what else is there, right? For the Horizon 3 opportunities, they already told us publicly they're going to monetize Starlink. They're going to monetize AI. They're going to monetize the legacy base, right? They're going to do step ups in price. They told us all that. So they already told us they're going to partner with OpenAI. They're going to partner with NVIDIA. They're already buying US Cellular, right? 70% of it. So what else really is there for T-Mobile to get besides a big cable player? There's nothing else out there. They could maybe do a couple of more regional wireless players, but they're already scaled quite nicely on wireless. So what's there really to get? It's got to be cable, right? Verizon's getting Frontier. Maybe they do Lumen, but Lumen has like 69% copper still. Might as well do cable. That's much bigger, right? So we'll see. We'll see the outcome, but we have project names, right? Well, Project Odyssey is already US Cellular. So Horizon 3, right? That's the new project name that T-Mobile is going with public filings to the FCC. So we'll see what that outcome is. I highly predict and confident that it's cable. It's got to be cable because nothing else really makes much sense unless they just gobble up a bunch of smaller JV players. But like I said, that's just going to take time. I mean, they're still going to be doing that through 2030 maybe. I mean, they didn't really signal anything at the Capital Markets Day. If they were wanting more JV players, I think they would have talked about it briefly, right? So they're closing Metronet and Lumos this year. And then, look how long that kind of took, right? It took quite a bit of time. So if they announce one later in the year or two maybe, I mean, we might have 2027, 2028, you know what I'm saying? So I think they just do cable. They get 60 million homes passed with coax or copper or whatever. And they deal with that. I think they deal with that. I know that'll be a very expensive purchase or merger, whatever you want to call it. But actually, this will be the biggest. If they go after Charter, it'll be the biggest merger they will have ever done, even much bigger than the Sprint, like maybe 2 or 3 times bigger. So this will be a huge one that'll really shake the industry. So let me know your thoughts. Like, share, subscribe. See you in the next one. Peace.